All right there, guys. Hey, good to see you. Been a few days. I have been just wrapped up in doing all sorts of Hunyuan and LTX stuff, which should actually make you excited because I'm going to be coming to you soon with some workflow information. I'm really just kind of gearing this up so that I can bring to you the very best. I don't just want to bring to you some kind of measly sort of thing and say, here, just have this. I actually want to bring you stuff that's going to bring quality. And I do want to encourage you. I was working with one fellow, and I won't even say who it was, but he driving me crazy because he's like asking 100 million questions, and it seems like his machine ain't working that good. And so I'm kind of helping him over the time. But here he comes up today, and I notice he's posting over on the Discord there some really good stuff. And so I'm like, holy crap, the guy made it. And that's good. It makes me feel good. And I just want to encourage you, you're going to make it too. Keep pushing through there. So today I'm going to show you, it's not a real long video, but I'm going to show you how to get Hunyuan working on 8 gigabytes, at least according to Comfy, the Comfy people. Now, this is kind of good news and bad news. Like, good news in that you're going to be able to get it to run. Bad news in that it's going to take like forever to run. It's going to be like a 20-minute process. I ran it on my machine. It took a very long time. But I think the point is that at least you can do it, okay? You're not going to be getting a ton of video generation done when you've got a low amount of VRAM. I really want to encourage you guys, you really should be upping your video RAM game if you can, okay? So I know it's a lot of money. If you really want to get into this though, save up that money, you know, get a paper route or something, you know, some a little bit extra to get some money, because it's definitely worth it. But in the meanwhile, I understand we can't all do that. So we're going to go through a real quick thing today about how to at least get this going. So, I mean, you're talking like 20 minutes or so to get a 4 or 5 second clip, but at least you can do it. At least you're in the game, yo. Okay, so we're gonna do that, but before we do that, please do like and share the channel. Go outside, get on your friends, and yell, "Hey neighbors!" And just wait a second and do it a couple times. So probably finally someone will go, "What?" And you'll be like, "Get going fast!" Okay, and then I'm certain they're going to appreciate that. And it's good to spread the word. So thank you so very much for doing that. In the meanwhile, I think it's time for us to get on with the video and get you to a point here where, we're at least doing something. So hang in there and let's get going, yo. All right, so let's get going with this. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to assume that you have a ComfyUI installation. Now, this should work with a portable installation. That's one where you just go to the website and you just download it and you unzip it and you extract it, you know, all the good stuff, and run it. I really encourage you to get your manual installation going, because a lot of this stuff that I'm going to be teaching you, a lot of the installers that you can get as well from the Get Going Fast page, they all work with the manual install. And in fact, when you get into Hunyuan, unless you're using the quantized models, it will not work when the portable. So that being said, I have over here on the Patreon site, I have given this for free for you guys. You can shake my hand later. A Comfy manual installation. All you got to do is sign up for a free account, okay? So you don't have to pay anything for this. If you click it, it will install a ComfyUI manual. Okay, and that's good. Okay, it's going to be exact same thing as the portable, except that you have to have your system set up for this. Okay, so if you're serious about getting into AI, you need to set up your system correct. Okay, there's all these things that these portable, well, it's going to have this and that, but you never truly get it done. You never truly learn what you need to do. You never truly get your machine to a place where you're not going to have so much trouble. So I got videos on that, and in fact, over on the Patreon site, I have another thing up here. Let's see where it's at. There we go. You're going to see here, I've actually got a full system set up, so you can get that as well, and that will set up everything for your computer the way it needs to be. But, okay, bottom line is you need a ComfyUI installation. If you want, you can get this for free. It will set it up for you. Other thing I'm going to be using in this tutorial is this model installer that I created. So with these things, you have to have particular models for each different workflow or whatever you got going. And so you have to go to the websites and find them. I've created an installer here that just, you just have to click what you want to install. It lists all of the ones that are involved with the projects that we're working there, including the quantized ones. And then you can delete them or install them, you know, so whatever. So we're going to assume you have ComfyUI manual installed, okay? I'm going to use this as we go through the installation, but you can just click the links too. It's really not that big a deal. So having said that, we're going to head over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to type in blog.comfy.org. Okay, hit the yo button there, and you're going to see this one up here that says running Hunyuan with 8 GB VRAM and pixel art model support. Okay, I'm going to talk about the pixel art model support, but I'm not going to do it with you. It's just if you want to create pixel art. So we're going to click on that. Now, this really is not that difficult, okay? There's just a few things that you have to do. And you can read through this. Essentially, what it's using is something called temporal tiling. And without going too deep into it, it saves you resource, because when you're doing, I think the other one is called spatial tiling or something like that. And what it does is it takes an image and it breaks it down into, say, let's simplistically say, it breaks down into 4 quadrants. And it works at all of these 4 quadrants, changing everything simultaneously, right? So you get a picture of a person and you want their arms raising. So in each one of these things, what it's doing is it's changing everything all at the same time, okay? And it takes a lot of resource. So what this temporal tiling is doing is it's taking an image and it's busting it into pixels, or what are called latents. It's busting it into things that it can change, okay? Let's say the first one's called A, and then it's skipping over to, let's say, D, and it's creating an image of how it's going to look. And then when it goes back, it goes and it slowly changes everything to kind of morph in from, it fills in the B and the C. So instead of working on these smaller chunks simultaneously, it just creates larger chunks that it works on all at once, okay, like as one image sort of thing. So what it does is it saves resource, because you don't have to be doing so much at one time, but it ups the number of frames you need, okay? So in other words, it's easier to do the stuff you need to do, but it takes more images to do it, okay? So it takes a long time. This is why this actually takes a long time, okay? That's why when you have more VRAM, it takes less time, because you can throw everything onto the GPU and it rips it up. But if you don't have a good GPU, you've got to find different ways to do it. So it goes, okay, here's 1, do this one fast. Okay, now here's 2, do this one fast. You know, here's 3, do this one fast. But you know, there's 100 of them instead of, say, 30 of them, okay? So it takes a little bit longer, but that's neither here nor there. So that's what's going on. That's how it does it, and that's why it actually takes a little bit longer. In fact, a lot longer. But anyway, so just know that you're getting into this. You could run this, but you know, maybe you go do the dishes while it's while it's running. Okay, so what it wants to do is update ComfyUI. Okay, and this is very cool, and there's a reason for this. It's because Comfy has actually brought Hunyuan into their core their core being. It's brought it into their core software. So if you update ComfyUI, you're going to have all the nodes that you need. We're not going to have to install missing nodes. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Then we're going to get a workflow, because a workflow you have to have. That's where all the nodes are, and you got the lines going across. And so the workflow is a creative way that has been put together to work. So we're going to get that. And then all we're going to have to do is just change some settings. Easy peasy, okay? We're going to have to make sure you have the models, though, especially if you've just done the manual install. You're going to have to go find them, okay? So I'll show you how to do that, okay? But that's the biggest part of this. So, and the thing that takes the longest to download stuff. But let's go ahead and get going with getting this up. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is load ComfyUI. So let's go do that. Okay, so the first time you load it, it's going to load up, and it loads up with this default image generation thing. Okay, if you use the installer, the free installer, it will have downloaded these two checkpoints for you so that you can create models. But we don't want to do that. What we want to do is go up here to where it says Manager. We're going to click it. Okay, then it brings up our Comfy Manager menu. Okay. If you did this yourself, if you didn't use the installer over there, you have to install the Comfy Manager. Just do a Google search for it, and I've got 100 videos where I mentioned it, so you can figure that out. We're not going to worry about this. What we're going to do is click this button that says Update ComfyUI. You're just going to click it, and then what it's going to do is, let's see if I can show that to you really quickly. It'll click over to your command line. Let me see if I can get that to show up.
Did you see Kobe? Yes.
Okay, there it is. And so it's going to sit here, and it's going to go ahead and install. But now, if you notice on my machine, you'll see that moving, in other words. If you notice on my machine, mine has already been successfully updated. So if yours has already been, it will do the same. All right, so what we want to do is go back to our instructions. Let's pull them over here. And it says the next thing to do is to get the workflow. So we're just going to right click on this and go open link in new tab. It's going to bring up this. Now we're going to keep, even after we get the workflow going, we're going to keep this up because this is where we're going to get the models that we need from. I'm going to use my manager to do it, but if you don't use the manager, you're going to go here and then click and download, put them in the folders. So what we want is this. It says workflow in JSON format. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go save link as. Okay, let me click over so you can see the desktop. Okay, and it's going to give an option here as where to save it. So what I'm going to do is put it there. I'm going to go to where I have my install outside of my ComfyUI, and what I like to do is I like to go new folder, and I like to create something called workflows. Now if you've installed any of this before, you'll already have a folder called workflows. Just put it in there, and if you really want to get swanky with it, you can create another folder and call it Hunyuan. That way you can keep your workflows separate from other stuff. So we're going to save it, and notice the name, Hunyuan video text to video. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, now we'll pop back over to here. And let's go back to our, here we go. All right, so from this page, what we have to do now is up here you click on workflow, and you're going to click open, okay? Then all you need to do is go back to where you saved it, okay? So for me it was workflows Hunyuan, then you just click it. Now notice it's going to pop up all of this stuff. Now here's the beautiful thing. If you worked with me at all with this stuff before, usually there's a bunch of red install missing nodes. But ComfyUI has brought all of this into the thing, and that's what we did when we updated it. We made sure that it was all there. And if you want to add nodes, you'll see it here. You go right click, you can go add nodes. Okay, and anyways, it adds it all into down into here. You can rock around in here and you'll find your stuff. So anyway, everything is all set up. Now notice this part over here. These are the things that if you don't have them, they're going to it's going to throw errors. Now I have them, so it's not going to throw errors, but you would click Q, you'd write your name, whatever you want in here, and then these will go red saying you don't have them. So don't click on them, because what we want to do is we want to see the name of them so that we can make sure that we get the correct one. So this one says Hunyuan Video T2V 720p. Now let's go back to this over here and notice this one. Download the Hunyuan Video T2V. Oh, well, that's convenient. That's the one we need. So let's right click on it, open it in a new tab, and there she is. Okay, so here's what we do. Let's see where it says to put it. It says put it in your ComfyUI models diffusion models folder. Okay, so if it's not in your folder, we're gonna have to create it, but let's go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna click back to desktop again here. Okay, so to download this, all you gotta do is press this little button right here, click that, clickety clack. Okay, it's gonna bring this bad boy up. and you go just outside your ComfyUI folder. So now we're going to click inside of it. We're going to click Models. Now notice I have one called Diffusion Models. If you don't have a folder called Diffusion Models, it's okay. Just right click, go New Folder, and then write it in there. It'll show up, okay? Then what we do is we click it, and you notice I've already got it, but then you just go Save. Now, I want you to notice there's a 25 gigabyte model. This is not a small model, so it's going to take you some time, but you save it there, okay? Now we can close this out. Let's go back and look at the other one. So that one's taken care of. Now this has two clips, clip _I and Lava Llama 3 _ FP8. So let's go find those. Here it does download the clip I safe tensors and Lava Llama 3 FP8 scaled safe tensors from here. So same thing, we're going to open clip. Okay, and there we go. So with this one, we're going to do the same. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and we got to see where it wants it to put us. It wants us to put them in the ComfyUI models text encoders directory. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click the first one. Okay, and then we go back again to Comfy install models, and same thing, text encoders. If it's not there, just right click, go New Folder, and then create it. Okay, easy stuff. All right. This stuff seems always more difficult than it actually is. Okay, and then we're just going to save it. Okay, same thing. And then, now notice they got two of these, the FP16, FP8. Let's go and see which one they want. This one's one, the FP8, which is good because FP6, this is all, this has to do with quantized. So if you remember, we've talked about this before. When something's quantized, what they're doing is they're literally cutting decimal points off. They're making it a smaller number, right? So you got like a number that's 1.2345678 and you can't fit that number into your space. So you cut off the 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's basically the same number, but she's less precise, isn't she? So that's what an FP8 is. All right, it's quantized it down for us. And the FP16 is going to be a bigger one. You can also tell by the size. See, it's got more decimal points in it. It's like double the size. So we're going to grab this one, okay, because we are trying to make this to run on low machines. So same thing. Now it said we're going to go back to that same folder, ComfyUI, models, text encoders. Click Save, and then you're done. Okay, so now we can close this out. Okay, now we go over here. Well, we look at the last one. Okay, and by the way, notice that the top of this is where the clip goes, and the second one's where the Lava Llama 3 FP8. So the stuff gets confusing in their mind. You just kind of becomes like it's so messy. You're trying to take it all in. Don't worry about taking it all in. Focus on this part. Just focus on the stuff we're doing, okay, over here, and just pay attention. Read it, okay? Now the last one, we're going to get this VAE. And it's a Hunyuan video or Hunyuan video VAE BF16. All right, and so what we're going to do here is we're going to go back, and there's the last one. So same thing, we're going to right click on it, open that link in a new tab, and same thing. We're going to save it, go back to our ComfyUI, go to models, go to VAE, and then save it, okay? And guess what, guys? You're done, okay? You have downloaded all of the models. So congratulate yourself, go get a drink of water, breathe heavy, and then you got her done. So now what we can do, we can close this out. Okay, I would bookmark this just in case you need to save it up. It's a good one. But now we'll go back to our directions, and we've updated ComfyUI, we got the workflow. Okay, we've downloaded the models. Now it says in the VAE decode tiled node, lower the tile size, the overlap, the temporal size or temporal overlay if you have memory less than 32, which of course we do. So we're going to go over to here, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to scroll on over to here. This is our video decode tiled. Now notice these are all high numbers. So let's go at the first one, tile size. It says change it to 128. Okay, let's change it to 128. And then I'm going to press OK. And then we got overlap. Let's see what that is. The overlap and the temporal size are 32. So let's half those. Okay, 32. All right, and then this last one says temporal overlap. Now, don't really ask me what they do, but it's basically what it's doing is it's just using smaller amounts. So it's still doing the work, but in smaller bits. Again, it's going to make it so it can work, but it's going to take longer because it can't do so as much as once, kind of thing. But that's fine because our goal is just get it work. So we've all set this up. Now it says remember to select an FP8 weight underscore D type in the load diffusion models. Okay, if you still run out of memory or want to accelerate the inference. Okay, so you can try it as it is, and it's basically saying that if you run out of memory, then pop over to here and change this over here, the weight D type. Okay, and you'll see these FP8s. Okay, and again, it just helps quantize it even more. Now, these should already be installed into your machine, okay, when you do the manual install. If they're not, okay, if for some reason they're not, but they should be, look at what it says. It says FP8 underscore E4M, and just go to your Google and type it in E4M 3FN. Okay. And go ahead and find it, and, find it on Hugging Face, and then download it. Okay, so I'll leave that up to you, but that should be fine. Okay, then now you're done. Okay, look at that's all of the instructions right there. So this is how Comfy has said to run this on 8 gigabytes. So then you can just go over here, and it's already got a prompt in there, and it's just going to be that silly little anime chick with the wolf ears, but you put whatever you want in here and it's going to run. I would also change this width and height. Okay, I like running stuff at 512 by 320 just because for me I just want something to go fast, because it's not so much about quality as it is quantity with me, because I want to make stuff for you. But maybe the first thing you should do is do something small. Just do something like 320 by 200 or something. I don't know. I don't even know if these numbers mean much, but they're by 208. Do something smaller and just see how it works. Other things that you can do is here's your frames per second. So that's how many frames it's showing every second, but you should have one that actually says frame size. Let's see if we can find that real quick, or how number of frames. Where did that go? Oh, this length. Okay, so length is your frames. So if you're going 24 frames per second, you've only got 73 frames. That's like a 3-second video. What I like doing is, especially if I'm just testing stuff, I'll turn this down to 8 frames per second, which is really small. It makes things move like this, kind of blocky-ish. But again, I'm just doing stuff. Then you can play around with 70 frames, and you're going to get an 8-second video. Okay, and you can even lower this a bit. You could lower that down to 65, and then you've got an 8-second, 69. There you go. And there you go. So that is it, guys. We have set you up so that you should be able to, according to Comfy, don't come after me with the pistols. Don't shoot the piano player. He's doing the best he can. According to ComfyUI blog, okay, which was over here. Where was it? Oh, sorry, it was here. This is what they're saying. So go ahead, play with it. Let me know how that works. Here, I did want to show you this really quick. I forgot to show you this. Let's click on over to this. This is my model manager. So again, if you can come up here instead of having to go to the different websites. If you need to find stuff, you can just click here, and it's going to show you what's installed, and then it's going to show you what can be installed. Okay, and it's going to do it for all that stuff that you need there. So this is a simple thing that I've created for the Patreon members. You can go over and either just get it as a single purchase or just join, man, and then you literally get everything. And plus, I'm willing to help you even more. Although I'm willing to help you anyways. But anyway, you guys hang in there. I hope that you get this going. Hang in there, keep plugging along. I mean, it's a journey, isn't it? So and it really is a satisfying experience. In fact, I want to show you kind of a funny image I made here real quick. Here, this is my new thing. This is before upgrading your GPU. and this is after upgrading your GPU. You're going to feel really good about yourself doing so. Yeah, I'm not a real hardware guy, but I can tell you the more VRAM you get, the better. The 30. I have a friend about the 4060, if you can afford that, and he is so happy. Okay, with that, but 3090 is great. Get up there in the 16 gigabyte range, you're going to be real happy. But if you don't, we're going to keep finding ways for you to do stuff. Hit me up, ask me questions. I'm happy to find you stuff to help you feel fulfilled in this hobby of AI, which is truly an excellent hobby. So you guys hang in there. We will catch up with you. Happy New Year, by the way. Yo, and we'll see you on the other side of everything.